A little bit ago I made a video on this console here, the 9000 PSX with an AliExpress disk drive, and it sounded absolutely horrible. The motor was on its last legs, and eventually it got so bad that it wasn't even playing games anymore, so I couldn't even do the old method of waiting for it to warm up and whatnot. But that's all over. Watch this. You hear that? It's suddenly incredibly quiet, and it's playing original discs, which it was struggling with, perfectly fine. This game wasn't even loading at all. This would not work. It would just always crash early on. How did I do this? I said I would make an updated video on this eventually, whenever I'm ready to replace the disk drive, and I was actually about to. That is until I saw a video, and huge shoutouts to the Retro channel for making this video, where they showcased how to oil the spindle motor on a PlayStation properly, and it actually seemed like a pretty cool thing, and it seemed to have fixed their PlayStation, so I thought I would give this a shot, and it somehow fixed it to the point where it can play any game. I wasn't expecting it to just be able to play any game perfectly because it was in such horrible shape, but it sounds a lot healthier now. And yeah, it just plays games immediately. Now, I'm not saying that this will last forever, but temporarily it's doing great. But since I've already oiled this one, I've got other PlayStations to mess around with. This one in particular has sort of the same issue, so I thought it would crack this one open instead of that one, and then try to oil the spindle motor on this PlayStation and see how it does. I'm going to quickly hook up this PlayStation just so we can sort of get a baseline and hear what it sounds like. I already have a disc in there, but we're going to need to use Tony Hawk's on this anyways. I need to go grab a controller too, I forgot about that. This one doesn't have a Mark chip, so I use a Tony Hawk's memory card, as you can see. Let me see if I can go grab a controller. Alright, I got a controller. So let's just see what it does. So here I'm using free PSX boot with Tony Hawk's. The disc, so this console can actually play the discs usually. Most of them will play fine. Originals definitely play fine. However, yeah. It's a bit noisy. I want to move the camera a little bit closer so you can hear it better. Yeah. So for the most part, it does play games at least, but it's quite noisy, so this would be the perfect candidate to try this on. Actually, it didn't even play the game, it looks like. See? There you go. Needs a bit of service. Alright, let's crack this thing open. Usually the PSX has the big old PlayStations do have worse disk drives than the PS1. PS1 seems to be a little bit more reliable. I think that the tape is just there to sort of balance the disc a bit. I'm not going to touch that. So let's remove the screws. I've already lubed up this disk drive a little bit, but I didn't treat everything. So we'll go in there and add some more. Especially, I kind of want to add a little bit to the head movement motor. Not sure what the official name of it is, but the motor that moves the lens up, lens to left, from left to right. Would it be like Seek motor, maybe? Could be Seek motor, I'm not sure. And one last screw. It's under the warranty sticker, I believe. Okay. All right. So we can take it apart. This is actually almost my childhood PlayStation. Not exactly. The disk drive in it is from my childhood PlayStation. I bought this PlayStation from the just a tit-tat shop. It was just, you know, like junk shop, and you know, it cost me like, I don't know, $3 or something over 10 years ago. And it didn't, so it came with a really healthy disk drive because it's a non-mod chipped console. So I decided to lift the disk drive from it and then put it in my childhood PlayStation, which is mod chipped and has seen a lot more burnt discs than this has, of course. So yeah, this is still my original disk drive from back in the day. We're gonna try to help the you know, the function of it a little bit, so that hopefully it can work for a couple more years. And this is kind of tricky. Okay, I'm gonna lift it up and then, okay, much better. All right, so yeah. So these slim models, as people call them, the PS1s, they have a, am I holding it upside down? Yeah, I am. They have the KSM 440 BAM disk drive pickup. And so, yeah, I'm not going to take off the spindle. Last time I actually, on the AliExpress disk drive, I took off the spindle and then ended up cracking it. There's no way of properly taking them off without cracking them. You're usually going to break them. Because you can add oil underneath as well. But I found that just, I think adding oil on the bottom should be good enough. And that's going to make it work pretty good. It's kind of hard to get it on camera, but what I did was use a little bit of this oil here. It's machine oil. And then, oops, put a generous amount of it on top here. Now, Retro Channel mentioned that it, you know, you need a syringe, and I don't have one. Or like, you need some kind of very fine, thin apparatus with which you can, you know, inject the oil in there. But I don't have anything like that, and I couldn't be bothered getting anything. So this actually worked fine for me. Is using a tiny little toothpick and then try to help the oil in there a little bit. You know, guide it into the holes. And just waiting a little bit, waiting for the oil to settle in, and then we'll just remove the excess. Like this will still let the oil penetrate into the hole. I also like to kind of spin the spindle around a little bit, get some motion going. Yeah, make sure to check out Retro Channel's video. He does a lot better job at this and explaining how to do this exactly. You definitely should get a syringe for this, but I think this will work just fine. So I'm just going to let it sit, and then we'll wait for a little bit. And while we're at it, I'm also going to add a little bit of grease to this part right here, which I've kind of neglected last time because I've added some into the rails, but I have neglected to add some grease to this cog right here. This is very important because if all the old lubricant kind of gunks up, then it's possible that the head will just, you know, stop moving. I can see some kind of dried up stuff in there. I'm gonna add like a generous amount, and it will sort of just spread across as it moves up and down. You know, the pickup will move and kind of just spread this, you know, grease around all over the cogs. I'll put a little bit of here too, onto that part. I know this isn't penetrating perfectly, and for the best result you want to take this whole thing apart, but I think this is going to do a good enough job here. Alright. Basically when this drive will just start operating up and down, that grease will sort of find itself through all the cogs. But yeah, if you ever find the disc, the lens to just you know, be stuck next to the motor and it doesn't want to move anywhere, that's the issue, that there's this all the lubricant has dried up in this area here. It's kind of a pain in the butt to take this apart, so that's why I'm not doing it right now. But you know, if I have any issues with it, I will return to this and then we'll do that. Or maybe in the future I will actually do that to another disk drive, because I have some more disk drives I do want to refurbish with this method. And I think we're ready to reassemble the disk drive, ready to reassemble the PlayStation, put the disk drive back in. It's kind of tricky to reconnect this. Okay, it's in there. But what I will still do is, as a final touch, we gotta clean the lens a little bit in case I got any dirt on it by accident. So we'll just get a little bit of IPA on the cotton bud. And then clean it a little bit like that. And it should be good to go. So let's take a listen. I will maybe dry fit a disc on it before I put it together. Ooh, hold on. Something's not right. There we go. Awesome. Alright. Okay, let's put it together. This tape isn't really holding anymore, but it's fine. It's not going to be getting in the way because the plastic bit is pushing down anyway, so it can't reach. Alright. Screw those screws in. Alright. Let's hook it up and see what it does. If all goes well, it's going to be a lot quieter. And it's still going to read discs if I didn't mess up anything. Alright. We're going to need the memory cards for sure. And the controller. Alright. Don't look into the laser. Not even on video. Alright, let's see what we get. Alright. Let's start up Tony Hawk's here. Now I'm using a universal power supply, which wasn't really meant for this console, but for this short test I think it will do okay. Oh yeah. Sounds a lot quieter already. Oh yeah. Oh, it sounds so much better. Doesn't have that harsh sound anymore. This is amazing. I honestly never even tried oiling PlayStation disk drive motors. It's amazing. I love how it just works so well. What isn't working well is this stupid power supply. I think it's probably just the power supply. Hold on. I'll go grab another one. Okay, I've just remembered that my network switch out here is using a 8-volt power supply. So eight volts is basically 7.5, so we're just gonna use that, and it already has the PlayStation 1 style connector on it, so let's go. Perfect. Okay. Alright. I do have original PS1 power supplies, I just have them all inside and I can't be bothered like unhooking them to bring them outside. This will work just fine for this test. Okay, so just close the disk drive. I don't know why today my camera really doesn't want to focus on anything properly. Sorry about that. Harry Potter. This game would not even launch on the old 9000 PlayStation with the... Oh, I know what's wrong with this. It's not even the power supply. Silly me, I forgot to unplug the Tony Hawk's memory card. Tony Hawk's is a bit of a mess, as well as free PSX boot. I'm not a huge fan, but yeah, with Tony Hawk's it's great. The Unibios style free PSX boot is terrible though, I don't recommend that. Always just use Tony Hawk's, because yeah, the Unibios one just kept giving me issues with all kinds of different games. So let's remove this now. Okay, now it should work. Focus? There we go. I don't know what's up with my camera. It just does that today. It's a bit tired. Me too. I think now it should work. If not, then that's just a big fail for Tony Hawk's, I guess. There we go. Okay, it's working. And now the head is moving back and forth. It's kind of distributing the lubricant I've applied, so that should also take care of that. It's better to like completely clean it out, open it up, but opening up a disk drive, you need a bit of dedication, because it's all those things really don't want to go together all that well when you're trying to put it back together. Taking it apart is not an issue. It's putting it back together that might be a bit of a headache. But yeah. I'll even have a save. But yeah, this disk drive is working great. It sounds very smooth as well. Used to make an absolute racket, now it's actually fairly quiet. I'm not used to the PlayStation disk drive being quiet, because it's always been this loud one. Not as loud as the Dreamcast disk drive. You can kind of shut up a Dreamcast disk drive as well pretty good if you lube it up.
Heading for potions class, Harry. Don't be late.
Yeah.
Snape's a royal pain.
Just wanted to showcase this awesome little hack, I suppose, or like maintenance thing that you can do. Yeah.
You know, the Trollbogey ones. Bring us the beans, and we'll give you the
So anyways, hope you find it useful. Please, please do not touch the potentiometer for the laser unless you know what you're doing and you're just increasing the impedance. Like if you say, like for instance, when you get an AliExpress disk drive, and then you want to adjust the laser so that it's not overdriven like it is out of the factory for the AliExpress disk drive. My camera will just not stop flickering. I'm sorry. I guess I'm done with this video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Catch me on Twitch, whatnot. Thanks for watching. Later.